It's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Boom. There it is. All right, let's get around this
I love the mics with
background.
the soft shit on the top. It feels like Bob Barker. Makes me so happy.
The price is
Okay.
right. Here you go. And turn that up a little bit. How are you? You good over there?
I'm quite dandy. I like how it sounds.
Nice.
What
All
happened?
right. Oh, I got a rope burn. I got a rope burn at work being manly, trying to do some manly shit.
Yeah.
And then fucking it came down and I tried to catch the rope and it came across the arm and it was terrible.
Okay.
It was
Yeah. Did you feel
war wounds. You know?
Right. War wounds.
War wounds.
Okay.
I got paid well.
Okay.
So
that was going to be my next question. You fill out that workman's comp file.
Oh no, because if that's the case, you got to go piss, and it's like, well,
okay.
I didn't
We
hurt
don't need to do
myself.
my business.
We okay?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Roger
And boom! What's up? Welcome back, goddammit, to another edition of Tell Me a Joke, the guideline of chasing the dream. I'm your host of Maniacal, Menace, Kyle Smith. Say that whole thing like a pimp named Slickback. And on side of me today, I finally got the vibrant one, the one that's always out here being an entrepreneur, creating shows and doing so much. We love her. Put y'all hands together for Banke, though.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, we got claps. We got claps. Yeah, everybody so surprised.
Thank you guys for
hell
being
yeah.
here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Thank you for coming. I'm
Yes.
glad I could get your time.
Of course.
You have so much going on.
Do I?
Yeah. Well, I mean, ever since I've seen you, it's always been something. You have your cabaret,
Yes.
which is good, great.
Thank you.
I'm like, we need more of this in Texas.
We do.
Yeah, because like being from New Orleans, that's what that was one of the things that I was into the most.
Yes.
Just because we have a huge burlesque scene
you
down in
do.
New Orleans. Yes, and it's great. And I was actually part of a burlesque community. In my sense, they would call it boylesque.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boylesque,
right.
Okay,
right.
so you put like the little bells on your...
Oh, so much. I had little Batman spanks. Superman spanks.
Okay, Superman, I hope.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I would come out to like some Pretty Ricky or something of the sort.
Yeah.
And grind. I would vigorously grind on everything.
I believe
just
it.
a good grind session on somebody that is expecting it. They want it. They definitely want it.
That's what they're there for.
Fun times.
Right.
I really enjoyed those burlesque days. I need to probably bring it back, but my big piece was the ottoman humping. Yes,
okay.
I had brought an ottoman on stage, and I danced to Pretty Ricky as I gave.
Did you name the ottoman?
I did not. I do have names for the Ottomans now.
Okay.
At that time, I did not name the
that's
Ottoman.
fair. That was early on.
Yeah, I think
as
it was
your
just Big
artistry
Red.
evolved.
Yes.
Yeah. There is a burlesque dancer who's also a comedian. Her name is Lola Devine.
Okay.
Do you know her?
I do not.
I have to put y'all in touch.
Yes.
I think she'll be a good guest for you as well.
That would be nice. That would be. I have talked to a few of my burlesque friends way back in the past when I first started this. The talent that they have for writing spoofs, basically, and also sewing and fabricating their own pieces.
Now that's the part,
right?
That's the part, because I'm not I was gonna say cartsy. So I'm gonna put arts and crafts together.
Okay,
right.
I like that.
I am multi-talented, but anything that involves the use of my hands to make something, that's not my ministry.
It's a bit much.
It's a bit much.
I do like to make things with my hands. Basically, me being a construction worker,
Right.
I'm doing a lot of building. Like I got the bobo today. I show off my bobos because doing what I do, it's dangerous from time to time. And what we had to do lately was like, oof, it was a bit much. But I always think about this is just feeding the money pot so I can go and do what I really want.
Right, exactly.
And so
that is the money pot.
Yes.
And these things coincide.
Yes.
And that's why I think as creatives and entrepreneurs, we have to look at our day jobs not as like this source of suffering or as it's taking away from your artistry. No, it's literally funding your artistry, And if you're blessed, typically you can find something that somewhat parallels what you do, or it provides a nice contrast, right? right?
Man.
So it's like you can turn that piece of your brain off, create in this way, and then have more inspiration for.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was well put.
Oh, thank
I
you.
really like that.
Yes.
I've never thought of it like that, but I always tried to trick my mind in a sense to where, like, okay, this is okay that we're doing this. This
Right.
is okay. No matter how long this is going to be done for, until things pop off on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, just be happy that this garners a substantial enough income.
Right.
And it's like cool because so when I go to work, I tell them, I'm like, I treat this like a summer camp to everybody. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is fun for me.
Exactly.
I actually trick
This
my
is
head.
the no pressure. Exactly.
Yeah, and it works. It helps.
Because we've seen, and this a beautiful thing for people who, take the jump and they're like, okay, I'm going to do my art full time, right?
Yeah. Whoa.
And I've been in that position,
That's
right?
scary.
It is scary. And what it often creates is like a feeling of lack. You can sense those people where it's like, their bread is only coming from this, right? Like if this doesn't pop, they're not going to eat.
Yeah.
And so that often it's a desperation that you can almost smell. You know what I mean? It's like, where's the gig? And it's like, yo.
Like, I don't want that.
I don't
want that.
It didn't work for me, Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I just vibrate so much higher now in having a day job that sustains me, right? And then, like we were talking about, it's good to have that separation because the industry or the art and entertainment world, it has
draining factors about it. Oh my God.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's like, oh, okay. And then when I come in, indulge in that world, it's like everything that I'm doing is out of choice and out of power.
Yeah.
I don't have any desperation. I don't technically have to do none of this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, it created a more mental balance.
That's exactly what I need. That's exactly
That's what you have.
Yes. I was just, because that's what I'm working on, because I myself, I hate the internet.
Yeah.
But I understand its uses.
Yeah.
So I understand that I need to be present on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand I'm gonna be present in my own
Your way.
time.
Yep.
Yes, I'm not gonna give you everything that I have.
Right.
Even though things might be going good, I'm gonna keep the pace that I'm at so I can keep my sanity.
For sure. So I have a love-hate relationship with the internet too.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's a valuable tool. It's like anything, right? Any tool, whether it's a knife, whether it's a Bible, whether it's the internet, whether it's a hammer, it can be used for good or it can be used to literally kill people, right? And it just comes down to what energy are you putting around it. So for me, I'm starting to figure out ways where I can engage more that is organic to me, and then gives the people what they need. Because I think often as artists and as entrepreneurs, we get very self-centered.
Yeah.
Where you think, is this my dream? And, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody really gives a fuck
No, they
about,
don't.
you lucky if your family and your friends give a fuck,
Right.
right? But the layperson, you have to ask yourself, what are you giving them?
Yeah.
Why should somebody want to follow you?
Right.
And lately I've had to keep it a buck with myself. I'm like, you post like twice a week. Like, why do you think, how are you going to sustain the followers that you've been able to even attract?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I've come up with for me, what works best is even the things that have gone viral have been faceless. Right, where it's just I'm just doing a voiceover to something.
Wow.
Yeah. So in July, I'm from Rochester, New York. So I went home, and I got caught in the CrowdStrike thing that was going on.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I got caught both ways.
Whoa.
So my layover was in Charlotte, and going there, I got stuck in Charlotte for 36 hours.
Oh Jesus.
Right, and then mind you, it was only a weekend trip, so I spent more time in the airport than my actual destination. But anyway, and then coming back, I got stuck in Charlotte for another 36 hours.
Oh Lord.
But in recording and just making funny voiceovers, that's what went viral. Yeah. So, and even now, like after this, we're shooting at the Post. Shout out to the Post. It's a wonderful establishment. I'm going to go and do fat videos, just running up on people's food and just giving commentary. I'm already here.
Yeah.
It's not going to require any edit.
No.
It's going to be one take.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's something that people who are viewing at home, you're getting something.
Got the
It's
game
not about
plan
me.
down. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about whatever I'm filming and I'm just adding some funny commentary.
Yeah. I've realized that because the more content that I've had, the more followers that I've gained.
Yeah.
Just because there's things for them to look at now.
Right.
And it's crazy the way it's working out because things kind of like are starting to coincide with one another. And I don't mind how it's going, but I do I do enjoy that I was already set up for the succession. You know, it like not even thinking about it, just like kind of preemptively, it was already there.
Yeah.
And now that people are coming on, like I've seen other people go viral and do whatever, but it didn't garner the numbers that I've seen happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's because they didn't have much content.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that even though if it's because I put out clips of these.
Yeah.
So I'm able to do it now because I use Opus clips. Shout out Opus. And
Soon to be a sponsor.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yes. Yeah.
To be able to do this and be able to produce it so quickly, like things have just kind of like boosted, and like the more people that start to follow me, because it's like at least 100 people a day, and it's weird
That's
to
incredible.
see. Yeah, it's weird because before it was just people liking things.
Yeah.
and nobody would follow.
It would convert. That's
now,
where I'm at.
It's different now. Now people, instead of just liking, they follow, and I'm like, do I need to follow back? I don't. Most
No.
people are just. They don't. Their stuff is private.
Yeah, because you're already giving them something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why people are tapped in, because they're like, I want to see what's happening next. And shout out Juan, because you motherfuckers put a nigga on the map. And I was just like, all right, thank you. I appreciate all the love that I'm getting.
Yes.
I appreciate somebody that can see my talent.
Yeah, but it's all the love that you give, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That too.
Yeah, because since I've met you, the word that I would use to describe you is delightful,
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're somebody that you can tell you absolutely love what you're doing.
Yes.
And so whenever you're out on the scene, whether you're on the stage or you're just at the show to support, it's like you're tuned in. It's not one of those, we were talking about this before we started filming, like it's not a quid pro quo. It's not like, oh, I'm here so that you come to my show. Like, no, you're there because you are as much as you're an artist.
Yes.
And so that an artist is also somebody who absorbs art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, so that's why everything is just coming back to you. It's the energy that you've been putting out consistently.
I see. I was telling somebody this today because I've noticed that personally. I know this person personally, David Lucas. I don't know if you.
I'm not familiar. Is that the guy who sings with Toby?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's a comedian.
Okay.
And he recently had a viral moment. Yeah, he's had several, but he recently had a viral moment where he had a joke that was pretty off-putting, especially towards black folks, because it was a joke about George Floyd.
Okay.
And they it came into the Facebook groups, and black comedians just reaching for anything now because they're under the white gaze and such. And basically the joke was he was supposed to be canceled. He was like, you can't cancel me because I don't give a fuck. And it's just like, ever since I've met him, I've seen his energy, and it wasn't always positive.
Yeah.
It was always on a negatives. Not saying, just me feeling his energy in his presence. I'm like, something about you is just like, yeah, you I see the success in you, but I see it going in a bad way just because your energy is different. Like every time we met, it was automatically, oh, you short motherfucker, and it's like, all right. Hey, what's happening? I don't know you, but and then boom, shot back at him. So every time, but that's his thing. He roast.
Yeah. Okay.
That's his way to get it. But as you see him on stage and not giving a fuck because he has the following and the platform, it's like, man, it doesn't seem as if that's the way to go about things. And as I look as his trajectory just skyrockets, but also skyrockets in a negative way, and I'm like, I knew it. That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't want no parts of being a person like that.
Yeah.
Like he's cool and everything. Like I don't knock what he's doing. Comedy is comedy. Everybody's subjected to think about it in their own little way. But me as a comic and as an entertainer, there are certain barriers that I won't cross just because I don't want to offend people. Like I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
But my way of being silly is very observational.
Right.
So when I do my type of observational comedy or poetry, I'm very descriptive. But my intentions are not to really hurt or anything like that. And it's give and take. Like how do you deal with the pressures of criticism?
again, I think it's what you give is what you get, right? And, recently I went to this conference. It was called the Cry Out Loud Conference, and Deion Sanders spoke.
Oh.
And they were asking him, how does he deal with all the pressure of social media and so forth and so forth. And he was like, I don't subscribe to pressure. I apply pressure.
Ooh. Okay.
And ever since then, that's been something that I've really just been thinking about. So if I'm in a situation and it's normally entertainment, art related, and I feel any kind of pressure, I'm like, I'm not going to be the only one uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, let me apply the pressure. I think with criticism, how you critique others is how you're going to be critiqued.
Yes.
And that was your point that you're saying about that comic, right? So I know that I'm somebody who I believe that your art form, you need to hone it, you need to master it, you need to put time in, you need to study and observe people who are doing it at the highest of levels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if I see something and I think it's trash, it's trash.
Yeah.
Right?
You can see trash.
I can see trash.
Yeah.
You can smell trash.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
And so people have the right to look at me through the same lens.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that anybody could ever logically come to the conclusion that what I'm doing is trash,
Right.
Because again, I put what I put into it, but
the time and that effort. Yeah.
Right? So criticism, I don't think my artistry gets critiqued that much, to be honest. I think more so my personality does.
Oh. Huh. And so what would you say the type of personality you have that is very critiquable? Why?
So I'm not a naturally
Yeah.
I'm not like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if I fuck with you,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
Otherwise I want to speak and I want to keep my own
Little bubble.
little bubble.
Yeah.
And I think in Houston, with it being the South, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I first came here, I'm from Rochester, New York. Excuse me. My first 2 years were really hard because a lot of people were telling me, you're rude, you're so mean. And it really hurt my feelings because, one, I'm a follower of Christ, so I believe in exhibiting those traits, right? But I think a lot of people think Jesus was a punk, and he was not. He was one of the more outspoken people ever, right? You know what I mean? He was honest. He had a temper. He got directly to the point.
Yeah.
And that's how I am. Like, I get to the point. If you don't have a strong relationship with honesty, you're not going to like me.
Right.
And if you need a lot of outside validation, you're not going to like me, because unless, we already have some kind of like relationship and rapport, I'm going to speak. I'm going to be over here and I'm waiting to perform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I'm done, I'm just going to be over here because, again, I'm here to get better. Right. So I'm watching these performances. I don't need to kiki with you.
Yeah.
In the comedy world, somebody was telling me recently, like, well, people get booked off of who's a good hang. And so the
terrible.
layperson, like who the comics want to hang out with, who they're going to enjoy the most in the green room, who they might want to smoke a J with afterwards, and that's fine because it's human nature, right? So if we're talking about day jobs or art, for the most part, likability is what's going to open a lot of doors, right?
Right.
But how much ass kissing is necessary in order to be likable?
And my nose is already brown.
Right,
I don't need to make
naturally.
it brown.
Right. So my booty hole brown. No, sorry.
And that's so New York. And you born and raised in New York? Where you born? See, that's why I gravitated towards New York. Like in the beginning, like I thought that the mecca of comedy was California. I need to go to California to go ahead and boom, chase the dream.
Yeah.
Got to California, I was like, this shit disgusting. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Went to New York, checked out New York. That was the place I should have been. Like if I would have went to New York first instead of California, that would have been a place I'd have probably moved to. Probably wouldn't have stayed there long either.
Yeah.
But just the straightforwardness, we don't play like this is the truth about everything that's happening. It ain't fake.
Exactly. And to me, that's the ultimate form of kindness.
Yes.
Is to be honest, because I'm going to save you time.
Right.
So again, just different things, cultural nuances, right? I remember when I first came here, I had hit a performer about something. I'm like, hey, are you available on such and such for a gig? And they were like, good morning.
Oh.
I didn't hit you to say good morning.
No.
I hit you to ask you if you were available on this day. To me, I'm being kind because I'm not wasting your time. I'm getting straight to the point. To them, and you got to look at other people's perspective, right?
I get it.
To them, that's rude. Like, you can't ask me a specific thing until we've exchanged these pleasantries.
Hey, just a response or just a reaching out is a good pleasantry to me. Like that, I'm like, oh, what? Is this for a gig? You offering me money?
Right.
What?
Right.
Hello, how you doing?
It's
It doesn't
different.
even matter. Yeah, I'm here. I'm down for it. What's
Right.
good? You know, I'm definitely, yeah. And see, I think that's the difference between certain like areas of where you stay, because now that everybody that was in California has moved to Austin,
Yeah.
like Austin has become the place that people talk about as, if you
Pretentious.
want to do that,
Yeah.
if you want to go through comedy that way,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, like I don't, like when I was in California, you definitely can see that people don't try. People don't. They just want to be around the people that are trying.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they want to go
Dick
with
riders.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's just like you have the creative ability to actually be something of yourself instead of feeding off others. And it's just like that's one thing that makes me just sit down and think about my writing even more. Whenever I am writing, I'm like, oh, let me go ahead and make a gap between the people that do try and the people that ain't even trying.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I wanna lengthen that gap just so that when people do see me, there's no way that they're capable of doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. How long have you been out in Texas?
It'll be 7 years in November.
Oh, fresh to it. When did you start the cabaret?
So the cabaret I started in March of 23.
Okay. And what made you want to?
Yeah, so artistically, I've always been a writer. I've known that since a kid. Whenever they ask you what you want to be,
Yeah.
I would say an author, right? That's why my stage name is
Banke,
Banke the author, because I'm
lovely.
literally a published author. That's my first love. Again, I'm very introverted, right? And so I think, again, when people are reading me as standoffish,
Yeah.
it's really what they're seeing is that I'm introverted,
Yeah.
right? And depending on how you look physically, if you're shy and you're really cute, then you stuck up. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you're shy and they're just shy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, so the written word has always just been a solace for me. And then I started doing spoken word in college.
Yeah.
And then when I moved here, I started doing spoken word again because it was a way I was looking to establish myself in this major market that is Houston, right? But really I was looking to establish myself for my books. And then it just happened to be that performing kind of took off.
Yes.
Yeah, so the cabaret, so in that way, it combines all of my loves. I was doing this show here. It was a drag show. Mama Mella's drag show. Shout out to Mama Mella. It was the first time I did drag. I am a drag king.
Okay.
Yes, my drag king's name is Big Daddy Banks.
Yo, love it.
Yes.
Yes. I told you before, you need to go down to New Orleans and do this. They would love you.
Indeed,
Yes.
indeed. So doing that show was the first time that I was like, as a performer and as a person,
Yeah.
that I truly felt all the way accepted.
Yeah.
You know, everybody got to do 3 different sets because it's kind of like a variety show, kind of
Right.
similar to the cabaret,
Yeah.
right? And so I would do a spoken word set, I would do a stand-up set, and then I
Hell
would
yeah.
do my drag set. Yes.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
That is so good.
And then I just wanted to, so with the cabaret, I saw it as like this like twist of like In Living Color meets
Yeah.
like Def Comedy Jam
Yes.
mixed with like the poetry. Like I just wanted to explore all the things that I love. And because I had done so many different forms of performing here. So I did, spoken word, comedy, I dance. Like I danced with an African dance troupe. I've always danced with different musicians. So I've had all these amazingly talented people that, are in my circle. I'm in their circle. So
Yeah.
for the cabaret, I'm like, okay, how can I put all this to stage and make something like, to your point,
Yeah.
that is that gap between the people who are just doing the
Yeah.
same old same and those who are really creating.
Yeah, that cabaret stands out.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'd like, because when you come out here, everybody does just about the same, because it's Texas and Texas sticks to what works.
Yeah.
And you understand that. That's why Screw has been around for so
Right.
long.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why people are still doing syrup and shit.
Right.
And it's like, oh, this is a staple of y'all. Slabs, swinging, I get it.
Which
know?
I appreciate because it's a
Right.
very distinct culture.
But to step outside the box. It's just like,
It's
and
the
then when
gift
people
and the
see
curse.
it, yes, yes,
Yeah. Because to your point, it takes a while. What is it? I just feel like my whole career,
Yeah.
I've been ahead of my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it takes a while for people to catch up. So that's where the pain point is. But then the people who get it, the audience members who are like, oh my God, like, because it wasn't, again, as an artist, as an entrepreneur, you should be thinking, how are you serving your audience, right? So we would start off every show with something we call audience integration, where it's like people are singing and dancing, and we're doing it in such a way that if you with the shits, you can break that third wall and get on stage with us. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then and they don't even know, because the cast will be sitting in the audience. Yeah. So they don't know that the person that hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
Is a cast member until you see them come out and do their set.
The plants.
I
love it.
Right? And then it does this idea that, and I truly believe this, that everybody is an artist.
Yeah.
Everybody creates something, right?
Definitely.
So you're talking about being an electrician, being a tradesperson, whether you're a teacher, the daycare people, like you're literally creating, you in your personhood, you create your own world, right? You figure out who you are inside, and even when you decide what you're going to put on your clothing, right? It's supposed to be a manifestation of how you feel. Yeah. So if anything that I produce and create, I want the audience to feel just as important as the people on stage, because you are. And I think that's where a lot of people on this particular level of, performing and producing, they miss out on. You don't have a show without the audience.
No.
So they should be your top priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that's I think about that often, because when I used to do shows myself, I would try to garner to two audiences, just because the show that I had is called The Countdown. Basically, I would take three comics, two poets, and a musical artist. So 3, 2, 1. Okay. Like a countdown. Yeah. And, I like themes. I like to be able to have a way with words. Right. Yeah. So to have people think about it, like, oh, this is what's happening, this is what's going on. And to actually put on a show with the audience of comedians, and then also an audience of people that want to see poetry. Right. That's a combined audience there. And then you also have your musical artist that's bringing his own artist. So his own audience. So when all that comes together, you got groups of people seeing more than just what they usually come to see. Right. And like, just to put all of that together, like your cabaret and the shows that you put on, it is like there's more than just this art out there. I love to showcase that the people that I know are multifaceted. For sure. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the things that as soon as I met you, I was drawn to the aura that you create around you. Oh, just because it's like putting on something that I've grown up seeing, and not everybody talks about out here, because like Texas is really taboo on certain things. Yeah. And they definitely they ain't with the shits. Yeah. And it's just like, man.
So I found that the majority of our audience, they were transplants.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting to know. Yeah.
And I think that may have been because of the location. I tend to do everything in downtown, midtown area. Yeah. And that's where
you get all your transplants from, basically. Yeah. Oh, nice. How is it finding locations for your shows?
God is so. I haven't found anything. They've always found me.
Oh, hell yeah.
I
that's a way to go.
Yeah. So, because I'm very particular, again, about energy, atmospheres, so if I'm at a place and I like it, so I do my comedy party third Tuesday, right? Which is held the third Tuesday of every month. If you're in Houston, you got to come to Dean's.
Come on with the Dean's.
But I went to Dean's originally 4 or 5 years ago. Outspoken Bean had invited me there, right? Shout out to Bean. And he was like, oh, I did my first poetry show here and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, I think he was trying to mac. I don't know. But in my mind, I just tuned him out. And I was like, this is a cool thing. Yeah. I should do a show here. And that's how I started doing that. And then Heike and the Pilot, Poetry Lounge was doing something there, right? And so I could just see, just the stage and how the space was. And I knew that at one point, Third Tuesday was just like bursting out the seams. Because Dean's is a great venue, but it's very intimate, which is good, right? Yeah. But it was like, and it doesn't have a stage. So I was like, I need something bigger. And then Blue, Blue? Yeah. A Blue Jay? Yeah. Yes, I love her. So she worked with me for a while. And she was like, she went over to Heike and she just talked to them. She was like, oh, I represent Banke the artist.
Come on.
Da-da-da-da, Banke the artist, right? That's what She called me,
Yeah.
and then she was like, "Oh, okay, so I got you a new venue."
What?
And I was like, "What?"
That's dope.
And then so that's how the cabaret came to mind, because Hiking Pilot is huge,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And that stage is huge. And I was like, and then Poetry Lounge is already there. Shout out to Seven and Bar None,
Shout outs.
right?
Definitely.
And I didn't want to. Again, I'm not a biter.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not a dick rider. I don't want
Yeah.
to do the same shit that everybody's
Right.
doing. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do something in the same space where
Yeah.
they're doing it, how can I just do something that nobody can feel like a way about? Because it's completely different.
Different. Yeah. Hell yeah. That is a way to go about it. Wow, that's amazing that, just the energy that you bring out to people. People like, hey, let me help you out. Go ahead. Let me,
Right.
boom. Here you
Yeah.
go.
And
Check
again, because if you care about people, people will care about you, but it can't be faked.
Yeah.
And again, I don't do that quid pro quo. If I'm pulling up, it's because I need some art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not expecting, you got to come to my shit. No, you should
Yeah.
only come if you want to be there.
Since you're an artist and an author, how do you deal with writer's block often?
Never.
Never. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've been preaching that, man. Writer's block. That you should never have writer's
Yeah.
block. There shouldn't be a time where you are blocked from being able to write anything. As long as you are thinking of something, there's always something there to be written
Exactly.
down.
Exactly.
Oh man. So I've told people, like, the way I deal with what you might say as writer's block. There's always something that I'm thinking about to where I can always expound on it, even if it's a little bit of a pebble.
Yep.
I could take that pebble because I'm an artist.
Right.
I can turn it into anything that I want. So there's no way that I should not be able to write something when I can create.
I think it depends on what your process is.
Yeah.
So, me, everything that I do it comes from God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So every morning I write my pages and I just spend time with God, and then jokes will come to me. And I'll be like, yo, wait, not now. Like, I'm just trying to talk to you about something else. You know what I mean?
I love it.
And then I read this book. There's a series of these books. It's called The Artist's Way.
Yeah.
Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, with from Julia Cameron. I'm gonna say shout out to her. I don't know her, but she might know me. I don't. But anyway, and so it's just these 3 things that will keep you kind of in artistic shape, so that you'll be able to create. So the one thing is writing morning pages.
Yeah.
And so it's like first thing when you wake up, you just write 3 pages in your journal.
Yeah.
Like whatever's on your mind. It's not meant to be. It's just meant to get it out.
Get it
right?
out there.
Taking a walk once a week.
Okay.
Because if you're walking, those wheels,
definitely
they start turning. And then the thing that's the hardest to do, that should be the funnest, but it's the hardest, is taking an artist date once a week.
An artist date.
An artist date. So that's when you take yourself out. You are not allowed to take anybody else.
What?
Because anytime you go with somebody else, if you're a human being, you're going to be considerate.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, oh, where do you want to sit? What do you want to do? No. It's to center yourself. And it's anything that will feed your artistry. So anything that's going to give you pure joy. Not like, oh, I think I should go to the theater. No, if the theater is not really fun for you,
Right.
don't do that, right?
Yeah.
You might go to a fabric store. You might
Yeah.
go to a garden. So my artistry, sometimes I go to the movie theater. Sometimes I go to the museum.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just go check out live music. So again, a lot of times where I'm pulling up, I don't do anything out of support. I hate that. I hate when people tell me that shit is a trigger for me. Like, nigga, my titties are perfect. I don't need no support, okay? Pull up because you want to be here. You know what I mean? So oftentimes, that's what I'm doing. Like, once a week, I take myself to somewhere that's going to feed my artistry.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go to the jungle gym. I go to the park and just swing.
Wow, that's a
right?
good time.
And then that refills that reservoir that you create from.
Yeah.
Because you can't keep tapping and not putting anything back in there.
Right. I have a reset that me and my partner used to do when every Friday we would go after work and we would go walk through the forest and we would go smoke and just talk and
Yeah.
release everything.
Yeah.
Because it's just us. Like,
Yeah.
so we can get everything out that we've been complaining about, what's been going on at home, and it's a really good friend of mine
A
that
safe space.
I've made. Yeah. And so, like, to be able to go there and release it, you come back with a different energy, and it's just like, all right, I'm ready for this next week.
Yep.
You know, to be able to do that and just to be out in nature, like I found that out in California. That was one thing that I really loved about California. There's so many trails and so many places that you can just go be one with the earth. And
Runyon
it is
Canyon.
needed. Yes.
Oh my God, it's my
I've ran
favorite.
Runyon Canyon.
You ran it.
Well,
Show
I
off.
mean,
I've walked it
I-
very slowly, but I made it to the top.
it
damn
was. run and then walk. Run,
Okay,
then walk.
gotcha,
You know, I
gotcha.
didn't run the whole thing.
Yeah,
No. That was a good experience. And then when I got down, I got a coconut, and I didn't know how great coconut water was.
Right.
Oh, it
Yeah,
brought
so
me
it's
like
right, the real
it
deal,
brought me back
holy
to
flow.
laugh.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yep.
Let's go do something. I was like, it was so exciting. Yeah, it's like I didn't know.
Who needs cocaine when there's coconuts?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, such a good time. Like the amenities that you get out in California was so amazing.
Yeah.
Like I like to go in when I'm in a different state and stuff. I like to go explore. I like being an introvert and a homebody.
Yeah.
But when I have the time, because I'm a traveler, I've been traveling since I was little. So like when I can go places and actually see, you know, this is y'all's city. Okay. Like when I was out there, I used to go skate downtown. Like so anytime I haven't done it
What
here.
kind of skate? Like
Quad
rollerblades?
skates.
Quad skates, the 4 joints.
Yeah.
The retro. Okay.
Yeah, I'm out there just getting it. Like,
Yeah.
my spirit is loose. You know,
Oh, I
I feel
wanna
like
see
I got
you
a
do
crop
it on
top
stage,
on.
too.
Oh, I used to bring my skates on
Okay,
stage. Yeah,
okay.
I
Let's
have,
bring that back, please.
burlesque shows that I've done.
Okay. Roger that. That makes sense.
I've hosted. It's such a good time. You make me miss New Orleans. I'm going down there next weekend for the Juan Poetry feature event. Yeah, this is like
nice.
their second one.
Okay.
So they brought me out there. I'm like, oh hell yeah, I got family.
Hey.
I gotta make sure I tell everybody.
Yeah.
But by the time everybody sees this, it's gonna be all over, and it was a good time. I sold shirts and shit. I got merch now. I'm just like, yeah,
Out here.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, it feels like I'm settling in, even though I'm not trying to do as much.
Yeah.
Because the missus is like, you need to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got you.
Right.
I
You got that beautiful baby.
Yeah. Family time. I gotta. How do you manage your time?
Well, I don't have any family here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well.
So how do I manage that is really the question.
Yeah.
Because that gets really difficult.
Yeah, about to say mentally that could
Yeah.
just
Yeah. I don't really have an answer. Because for the most part, again, I'm extremely introverted.
Yeah.
So socially, everything that I do is like art related.
Yeah.
I'm not stepping out unless it's somehow related.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't. So then I have time because I'm not doing those other things.
How long have you been in the artist space? How long have you been an entertainer?
Since 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually, that's quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, people respond in that sense when it's like they've done this for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I do the same thing. I'm like, man, if I'm going out, I'm going to make it go out for a purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, I'm going to get a fulfillment.
Yeah,
out
all
of
that we
being,
outside.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, it was a
Nah.
purpose to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, I'm inside.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite
yeah.
happily.
There's a reason why I would like to be seen.
Yeah.
You know, if not, I would be inside under, just doing whatever that I don't have to deal with, because y'all take my energy.
Yeah,
you definitely.
exactly.
I'll be drained sometimes when I finish a show.
Yeah,
and it's just
again,
like, oh.
when you are a light, and especially in the dark spaces that we operate in, because
Yeah.
just to keep it a buck, the art and entertainment world, it's mostly darkness.
Yes,
you know
it
what I
is.
mean? So people gravitate towards you, so it's a blessing, right?
Yeah.
But people don't know that when you, at the end of it, you're exhausted, you are drained.
Very much
and
so.
that's why the cabaret has been, I haven't done it in over a year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because as much as it fed me,
Yeah.
it took away too, right? And it wasn't
Yeah.
just the performance piece. It was like we had an ensemble cast, right,
Yeah.
of these multi-hyphenate performers.
Yeah.
And then everything that we did was built so that we would have good chemistry with each other. Like we really had to build community in order for it to translate, right? But who's at the helm of all of that?
Ooh.
You know?
Right.
So then the shit that people will be calling me and talking about and
You got to deal with all types of.
yeah, and it's a blessing because people trust and respect you, right?
Yeah.
But at the end, I'm like, yo,
I need time and space.
I need time and space. And we'll bring it back when all the other pieces are there, which is really sponsorship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you go about getting sponsors?
Again, God.
Fucking, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched this thing the other day. It comes on Hulu. It's called For Your Attention, Please.
Oh.
And Craig Robinson hosted.
What? I've heard of that.
Son. So anyway,
I don't have Hulu. That's why I haven't seen it.
yeah, get somebody's passing. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't got none of that shit. Shout out to all the people who share their login.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to MVP. But there was this kid. Well, I don't know how old he is now. Young man. This is me telling my age. But anyway, he's from Compton and he was a coder. right?
Okay.
His parents were from Ghana, whatever. So he got discovered in the library. One of the higher ups from Google, he was in the library reading all the programming books because he's teaching himself how to code.
What?
And then this guy comes in the library needing a particular book that this kid is using. So then he comes up and like, hey, can I borrow the book? And the kid's like, yeah, because he in his shit, right?
Yeah.
And then the Google guy is like, do you know what you're reading? And he's like, yes, I'm trying to teach myself how to code. And then he got an internship. Then years later, he's in Starbucks and he's sitting in the corner because he doesn't want anybody seeing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's developing this technology where he could use his hands to make music. Who walks in? Nipsey Hussle.
Get out of here.
And he said Nipsey Hussle walked past him like 4 or 5 times. So he had texted his friend, like, I think Nipsey about to come speak to me. And his friend said, Nipsey ain't about to fucking come speak to you. He said Nipsey interrupted him and said the most polite thing he ever heard. He said, excuse me, sir. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I know a little bit about technology, and I can tell that whatever you're doing is way ahead the market.
What?
And then Nipsey Hussle put him on and gave him a platform to introduce this new technology.
Whoa.
So I say all this to say, I think, and even when you were telling me about this podcast, which I think the premise of it is wonderful, but I caution everybody about this term dream chaser.
Yeah.
Because then that means it's always eluding you.
Yeah.
It's always something that you're running after. I'm not chasing shit. I don't chase anything. I don't chase men, opportunities, money, performances, nothing. I just build up within myself and all of it comes to me.
Ooh.
You know, every opportunity, everything that has been meaningful has come to me. I have had seasons in my life because, you know, you get into that grind, hustle mentality. It's very Western. It's very capitalistic.
Yeah.
You got to be doing all this shit. All of that has been like sand coming through my fingers. Like it hasn't built up to anything. The most substantial opportunities have always been I'm just out being me and it comes to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird too.
Yeah.
Because it's like the serendipitousness of things.
Yes.
And because I go out certain places and I don't expect to see certain people, and then certain people pop up, and I'm like, is this fate? What's happening right now? It feels like the universe is always talking to me and be like, hey, you're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Yep. My biggest clients, like ghostwriting, has been very kind to me, consulting, all these different things that you don't put on social media. Like, I feel like the real money and the real opportunities don't often translate to the flex shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's normally quiet.
Right.
And because it comes to you quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like it. Where do you like to write at?
Everywhere. I always have my journal with me. I like my desk. That's like my formal place.
Yeah.
And I have like my vision board right there. And there's the little things around me. My pink chair.
Yeah.
I love a good gel pen. I write everything old fashioned.
Yeah.
And then if it's something that I'm like, oh, this is something, then I go ahead and make a Google Doc of it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because, you know, notes in your phone and all that, that's cool. But I'm always thinking this could potentially be a show, a this, or this, or this. So I always want to make it a collaborative document, like off top.
Do you set aside times? Do you set aside times to write? Or you just write when you're compelled?
So again, I do my morning pages, and then often the creative ideas will come then.
Oh, so that's mainly the time that
Yeah. And I don't mean it to be this like a time to, you know, write for performance or, you know, publication's sake.
Yeah.
But it just kind of will flow into it. At different times when I've been on deadline for like my novels, I would carve out time. And then I would just, I think the last novel I wrote, I had to write. Yeah, I had to write 5 pages a day.
Wow.
That was the schedule I put myself on. I'm like, 5 pages is doable.
How do you deal with that? I'm assuming it's fun for you.
It is fun. So if you
that's overwhelming in my head.
No. So if you build the foundation of what you're doing first, right? So the first thing I do is I create like the world. You know, I'm thinking, okay, where are all the different settings going to be, the different cities these characters are going to be in? What do these characters look alike at different ages, stages, or whatever? So you know how like on those detective shows they have like the wall with all the suspects and all of that.
They mapped it out.
Yeah. I have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then when I'm going to write, I'm just looking at this one particular thing.
Is this in your mind, or do you actually have this on the wall?
I put it on the wall.
Oh.
Yeah. So then that makes it easier.
A little vision board.
A vision board.
Yeah.
But it's the world that you're creating, right?
Holy shit.
And then I realized that I don't have to write in order.
Oh.
You could put, because editing
Yeah.
and that's the thing. That's what fucks people up. They're thinking that writing and editing are happening at the same time. Because what you were talking about earlier, why you don't have writer's block, you're like, because even if it's a pebble, I can carve it.
Yeah.
Just put it on the page.
Yeah.
Worry about whether it's good and fixing it later.
Yeah.
Anybody can write 5 pages.
Yeah.
It may not be good, but then when you edit, that's when you whittle it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my poetry. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been telling people that I've been doing with my poetry lately. Like, well, that's what I've always done. I make a big block of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then I go inside of it and I dissect it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I add things.
Yep.
And that's how it comes into what it is.
And then you put it on stage and you might make some more revisions afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, usually if it goes to the stage, that's it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
done.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to
Okay.
think about it
I
anymore.
hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, I have a poem to where it didn't seem like it should have been done, but it ended with something so nice that I was like, I have to leave this here.
Yeah.
I have to leave it as is.
Okay.
I wanted to add more to it, but I'm like, this is like simple is better.
Yeah.
The more simple you can have it with the complexities inside of it, the better it can be.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and so I was just like, that was one of the things I was like, I just got to leave this alone and leave it as is, and then work on it from there.
Yeah.
So once I learned that, all right, because nothing is ever done. Nothing that whenever I'm writing, it's
Yeah.
never done. You can
Yeah.
always add
Yeah,
more
yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
But for something to be complete in
Yeah.
my mind,
Yeah.
I have to be like, all right, this is what it is. This is what it's going to be. I've tweaked everything that I feel as if I should tweak. Now I just need to memorize it and keep it in memory, and that's when I can close the chapter on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Now it's
That's
just
fair.
a performance piece
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Because the performing in itself has its own tweaks and revisions. Legit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been enjoying that lately too, because there's at least 4 new pieces that I have, and I understand that they're not gonna be complete until I have the inflection right. Until I have the mannerisms of how it's supposed to be performed.
Yeah.
It won't be complete until that's done.
Yeah.
So it's like 98.
Yeah,
98%.
that's fair. Yeah.
Impending.
Right. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about spoken word, because it's the words in themselves and that whole process, and then it's the stage is a process in and of itself.
Yeah. And that's what I call as the journey.
Yeah.
That's tell me a joke, the guideline of chasing a dream. It's usually people come on and they're like, it's not a dream chase, it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's that sounds, when you put it that way, that is exactly what it is. We ain't chasing something, because it's always, when you chase something, it's given a connotation that you would never catch it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. Or it's something separate from yourself.
Right.
Right.
Homeward Bound was a journey.
Right.
It ended.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
got to where they were going. And so that's what I usually rephrase it as.
Yeah.
As this dream chase is a journey.
Yeah.
That we're going, eventually it's going to end. It has an end to it.
I mean, because life is going to end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't
And-
think the dream journey ends, hopefully, not until you
because
pass.
then you become someone else's memory.
Right.
And that's how things continue.
Yeah,
And
indeed.
so, as long as I can leave a legacy behind,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do what I can to keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Hell yeah. Where are we? Oh, this is good. Okay. Now I like to play. I like to play a game of choices with the new people that come on, just to break up the monotony of everything.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about so much.
We have.
Yeah.
This has been a very enjoyable conversation.
Yes. Oh, I
and
loved
again,
it.
I love these mics.
Yeah.
I do.
All right. So we got a game of choices. You got
Okay.
4 choices and 4 options.
Okay.
All right. You got to be one, raise one, sell one, and have relations with the other one.
Be one, raise one, sell one, and have relations with the other.
Yeah.
Very strange, but I'm in.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And now your options are a mermaid, a mogwai, a Mexican, and a manatee.
What's a mogwai?
A mogwai is Gizmo. You remember Gizmo from Gremlins?
Okay, so I can
show you a picture. If you
Please.
need it. Okay.
That was the cute one, though,
Yeah,
huh?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So be one,
Raise one.
raise one, sell one, and have relations with one.
Yes.
I would sell the mermaid.
Okay.
I feel like that's going to bring in the most money.
You're making money, definitely.
Raise one. The gizmo, the mogwai, or the matinee, or the... What's the other thing?
Mogwai, Mexican, and a manatee.
Okay, so I'm going to have relations with the Mexican. 'cause-
Okay. We're keeping it simple. That's Gizmo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I would raise Gizmo, but
All
that
right.
motherfucker get wet. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah, you
guess
know.
so.
You know.
I
You know
guess
the
so.
curse of it.
And then the matinee, what does that leave me with?
Well, no, Manatee.
Manatee.
Yeah.
So I already sold my mermaid.
Yeah.
I'm raising Gizmo.
Right.
And I have had relations with the Mexican. And then
And you're gonna be a manatee?
I'm gonna be a manatee.
Okay.
All right.
That
Here
is-
we are.
You get final answer.
All right, fuck it. I've been called worse. I don't want to be no mermaid.
I've had people be a manatee and have relations with a mermaid, and it's just like it makes sense,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, I
Two
guess so.
aqua
I guess
animals.
it does. Yeah. That is a more clever response. I wasn't thinking.
there's so many
I'm
ways.
I'm the manatee, or however you say
Manatee,
it.
yeah.
When I'm having sex with the Mexican, that's what I am.
Yes.
Oh,
That's adorable
fun.
babies.
Yeah, I guess
I would
so.
assume it would be adorable babies, aquatic. You can make your own
right.
like
They have lungs and gills.
Jason Momoa.
Okay,
You know,
all
you
right.
could definitely have long
all right,
hair, silky,
yeah.
gills. He's still
so
a
then,
fish.
So the offspring would become a mermaid, and that's how it all kind of. Okay.
There you go, circle of life.
You're right,
Boom.
indeed.
Nah, I'm sweating y'all.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, man, Banke, let everybody know where they can follow you at.
Yeah, so you can find me on all social media at Banke the author. That's BANKE, Bank with an E.
I love it.
Banke the author, that's me.
Yes.
On YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, fuck X, but whatever, Threads, TikTok, all of them. Snapchat, I have the same one on everything.
Also, can you list your books?
Yeah, so my books are Always Want More and New Black. You can find those on banketheauthor.com. You can also find them, if you search any of these titles, you'll see all the different places. But, you know, you want to come directly to the seller.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Well, this has been Tell Me a Joke, the guideline and chasing the dream. I've been your host, Maniacal, Menace. Say the whole thing like a pimp named Slick Back. Like, subscribe, share, do all that shit, and keep dreaming, jokers.